Yes, so this is going to be a bit of a trigger warning. My education, a little bit about my education. When I was in kindergarten, now, like I said, I'm biracial. So in kindergarten, my teacher, she separated us down. So it was like when we did anything, if we went to lunch or had to line up, she would line white students, black students, then I was last. If we went, we did anything that involved answering questions or participating in anything, it was white students, black students, then myself. When we went out to play, whites played with themselves, black kids to their groups, and I had to play by myself because I had no one else that was biracial that could play with me. And so how did I feel about that? As a child, I really didn't understand what was happening or that I was being discriminated against unless somebody were to tell me back then that was happening. But I just know that I didn't like being paddled for being biracial, because my teacher would paddle me and tell me that I was confused and didn't know who I was, and that I was pretty much like an abomination. And when I would tell my parents, the teacher has her own side of the story. Oh, she's just doing this because of these things. And I was like, I would end up letting myself at nap time because I was afraid to ask to go to the bathroom. And it didn't make a difference because she was still paddling me anyhow. But I found a way to get back at her and show my mom and prove her, even though as a 5-year-old, you're probably like, how do you do that? Read my book, Purely Unadulterated Me. I tell you the whole story, but it's too much to talk about in this segment. But yes, I went through that. Then in middle school, we moved when we were in Philadelphia. So in Philadelphia, living in the bottoms, I was not, of course, in a good school, but they have this lottery where you can go to magnet schools, and my name, and you have to be an honor roll student to be able to participate. And my name was pulled from the lottery to go to a magnet school in a whole nother small town, and I would have to catch, I want to say, about probably 5 or 6 buses on public transportation, going through all the bad and just to get to a good area in a nice neighborhood to go to school. And I was very appreciative of that. And I was going there because that was the opportunity to have better and to be able to do better what I would have had offered to me in my community. At that school, I actually, the teachers were very nice. They didn't treat me different. And although, like, we had for Black History one year, the history teacher, he separated the classes down into black and white to have a discussion. And I wasn't mad about that or hurt about it. But when he separated the class down, the black students told me I wasn't welcome to sit on their side. And the white students said I wasn't white, so I couldn't sit on their side. So I ended up having to sit in the middle. And the teacher asked, like, how did that make me feel? And I told the class that I was hurt because I understood the pain of the black community, because that's where I grow up. That's where I live. And their pain is my pain because I understand it firsthand. And for the white community, and I told them that, it hurts that we're in a whole new day and a new era and you don't accept me. And what is it about me that makes you feel that I can't sit here with either of you? And so it sparked a good conversation to where my fellow classmates ended up supporting me in a lot of things and loved my writings and how I express, because my writings actually was relatable to both no matter what your cultural black background was, that we all hurt and we all feel the same things, and we feel disenfranchised in some type of way. That school also was where one of my teachers, my English teacher, he recognized that there were signs that I may be suicidal and depressed, and he had my parents to go get me checked out. In doing that, I ended up in the hospital for a while, and the doctors, when they were releasing me, they said that I was at the lowest part of depression, that they didn't have a name for it, the deepest depression. So I was just going to be a zombie, which means pretty much I would just be heavily medicated for the rest of my life, just living here, functioning, but not really mentally here. And I could remember hearing all of that, but it never connecting because I was so heavily medicated, that I was determined in my mind that I'm not going to be what he says. He's not going to write my narrative. I'm going to be off this medication one day, because I'm not going to just live. That's a miserable way to live, just live functioning. It's almost like being on life support, and you just rather either let me die or let me live type, bring me out of the coma. And which is why today I am a forgiveness coach.